this was really interesting. I will say, like, I first listened to Earth. I was on a run and you sent me this. And I for a second I was like, okay, I'll keep running. And then I very quickly quit. I stopped
Wait,
running.
this song made you stop instead of like stop to changing the song, like stopping
No,
the
I
song.
I
This song made you stop running.
yeah, I was in the middle of a field and I literally just stopped running. I'm like, all right, what is going on? Like, this is crazy. Hey, hey, hey. You can hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, buddy.
Oh, you look nice, dude. Wait,
Do I?
you're gonna get a haircut and then wear a
I
beanie to
I know.
podcast? Really?
That's how you know that's how you know
Take it off. Let's show
no
off our listeners.
no no
What? You got it. You're that
it's
shameless.
very fresh. Very fresh.
Too fresh for our eyes.
Too fresh for yeah, come back next week, everyone. And you can see me in all my glory. So plus it's cold. It's like dead of winter.
Oh yeah.
So
Well,
not
the problem. No, I mean your problem is you like to be economically efficient and
I do. Oh,
not turn
how
the
did you
thermostat
know?
up.
Did I tell you that?
What?
Or
I
did
mean,
you just
from
know?
being friends with you for like 20
Holy
years.
shit. That's hilarious. I feel so seen. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, we keep it on
I know
60.
you, bro.
Yeah.
60.
Yeah, we turn it down to 55 at night.
You guys are psychos. No wonder you're wearing that beanie. You don't even just want to show us for a second and put the beanie right back on. Oh! Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's gonna grow out. I'm not used to it being that short, but I have daydreams of like buzzing
That's
it.
cool.
Like what would it be like?
Buzz it.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna buzz it.
I kind of. It'll be nice if you just like put it all right back if you don't like it, but you can't do that.
All right, well I'm putting my hat back on.
Oh, bro. Welcome to the Pizza Cast. We are two
Welcome.
bedroom musicians hanging out on a Sunday afternoon. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, support our Patreon in the description. No, we don't have a Patreon.
We don't yet.
What's going on, Mason Ross?
Still need to change that name, but I think I'm gonna do that tonight. That's the plan is to I'm gonna I want to revamp like my Bandcamp, my social networks, my streaming platforms, total rebrand. And then I sent one of my songs off for mastering, actually. A song that I did, yeah. The one that I've been working on for literally like a year, which
did you send the whole
pathetic.
thing or just
I sent the whole thing.
Where did you send it off to?
When or what?
Where?
Oh, where? None of those. None of the above. I sent it off to. I don't know if I want to blow up her spot. I guess that's exactly what you want to do when you're
promotion.
Well, okay. The reason I say that is because I think I'm planning on sending like a whole EP's worth of music to have her master it all.
And you want other people to like take up her calendar dates before you send up your whole
totally. Yeah, I want to do like like Rolling Stone style where they just like move into a studio for 6 months and I just want to just all me. No,
yeah.
It's I found it on Fiverr, which I'm sure people have heard of Fiverr. You've used Fiverr, right?
Mm-hmm.
No? Yeah?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, okay. And yeah, I just like saw her it's Nerd Milk Studios.
Sounds promising.
Yep. Nerd Milk Studios. And I sent it in, like a week ago. I think she's based out of Nashville. She did an awesome job. And so then I just had you get like a couple revisions. I think like 3 revisions. It probably depends on like who you work with, but that was her. She had like a few different tiers of like price and like what she offers. So I did like a mix and master for like $50. I've put in definitely $50 worth of like work into it. So I think I should like, invest a little bit to make it sound cool. I did she sent like a rough draft and like I took it to my car to listen to my car. And it's like the first time I've ever been really like thrilled with how a song sounds in my car. So I think that's a good sign.
Nice.
Yeah. Cause oh man, I'm just like, years worth of like listening to old mixes and just like, I just like always accepted that it was just going to sound shitty in my car. And I always thought that, I don't know, like, I feel like for both of us, like headphones, like we're really into like headphone music, like, because we're all about the details and whatnot. But you can have like if you do it right, you can have like good details everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so
I mean, especially with your car speakers, which are so terrible,
they're horrible.
infamously.
Yeah, they're really bad.
So, yeah, if you got Sonic, that's amazing. And did you
Yeah.
compare it with just the regular mix in your
Yeah, I
car?
did.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the main thing is like it's just loud. Like I can really
Mm-hmm.
like kind of blast it and it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
just overwhelm like my system. So
Yeah.
yeah, it just kind of has more, it's got that more compressed, kind of a little bit higher, like the high, just kind of crisp, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Just and there's a few things that like I asked her to like tweak that I just couldn't like get on my own.
Was she
So
able to do them?
I think so. Yeah, she's working on like a final revision, and so I have like 5 to 6 songs that I want to put on like an EP, and so that's what I was saying about like the whole rebrand. So I'll like maybe like rebrand
Wow.
and then yeah,
Rebrand with a
2023,
new album.
dude, could be crazy,
Things
man.
are happening.
Things are happening. Yeah. So yeah, that's what's happening in my world, man. What about
Nice.
you?
Ugh, same old. Waking up, get
Wait.
my cup of coffee, go to work, go home,
Yeah.
work
Wow.
myself to death, take a
Damn, dude. It's
shower
like
if I have
Fight
time.
Club. Jesus. Fucking the American dream.
No, I've got no news. My sister's getting married next weekend. So
Congrats, Autumn and
Joel.
Joel.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Wow.
know. I don't know if so.
Can you make it?
Obviously, the biggest news in regards to that is that we won't be able to do our weekly weekend episode.
No.
Anyway, man, enough dilly-dallying.
Hey,
Let's
this is what the dilly-dallying is.
It's what people want.
Yeah, that's what people want. You got to dilly-dally
Give them their
always.
dilly,
Yeah, give them their dilly, their dally.
their dally.
But yeah, anyways, cut the shit, dude. What do you got? What do you got today?
All right. So, have you ever heard of this band called Magma?
Wow, that's crazy you mentioned that because I have.
Really? What do you know
Yeah.
about Magma?
I know that they sound like aliens to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like druids or something.
Yeah.
Um, I know I got a decent, and I don't know. I feel like these days, like my memory is not as much as it used to be. But in that the Kavis and Steve Snooker book, Snooker, that's not his real name.
Steve Davis, the snooker player.
Steve Snooker Davis.
Like Mason guitar.
That's a great format for a name.
Yeah.
I got a very decent helping of Magma because he was definitely obsessed with them. So yeah, what are they where are they from?
French.
Are they French? They're
Uh-huh.
French. Okay, I thought
Uh-huh.
so.
Yeah, and I didn't know this until I was reading about them recently, but yeah, Steve Davis actually was pretty instrumental in they had like a Magma had like a pretty long hiatus and might have been like an indefinite hiatus.
Yeah.
And Steve Davis was like pretty instrumental in like getting them back to touring and some other stuff more recently. So, or maybe not even more recently, I think like a decade or further back, I don't know.
Mhm.
But I thought that was interesting, and just how well, let me read the I have like the 2 paragraph like Wikipedia description here that I think is like a good summarization because I
Yeah.
don't know their history well enough to give an adequate summary either. But Magma is a French progressive rock band founded in Paris in 1969 by self-taught drummer Christian Vander, who claimed as his inspiration a vision of humanity's spiritual and ecological future that profoundly disturbed him.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's all about not all about, but Christian Vander is like the genius behind the band, of course.
Yeah.
And let me share my screen because yeah, just the audience wants to
They want. Yeah.
read
I gotta
along.
see this. Yeah.
In the course of the first album, the band tells the story of a group of people fleeing a doomed Earth to settle on the planet Kobia. Kobia. No idea how to pronounce that.
Kobaya. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Later, conflict arises when the Kobayans descendants of the original colonists encounter other Earth refugees. Of course, humans not getting along, even on other planets. The style of
Classic.
progressive rock that Vander developed with Magma is termed Zul,
Zul?
and has been applied to other bands in France operating in the same period and to some recent Japanese bands. That's interesting.
Mm.
Vander created a fictional language, Gobayan, in which most lyrics are sung. In a 1977 interview with Vander and longtime Magma vocalist Klaus Blasquez said that Gobayan is a phonetic language made by elements of the Slavonic and Germanic languages to be able to express some things musically. The language has, of course, a content, but not word by word. Vander himself has said, when I wrote the sounds of Gobayan, came naturally with it. I didn't intellectualize the process by saying, okay, now I'm going to write some words with a particular language in a particular language. It was really sounds that were coming at the same time as the music. Later albums tell different stories set in more ancient times. However, the Kabayan language remains an integral part of the music.
Wow.
So I think, yeah, I think the whole, it's definitely one of the most interesting bands as far as their whole concept and mythology and biography goes. It reminds me, in some ways, there's lots of parallels with Gong, with whole
Like a whole like lore, like kind of, yeah, there's like a, well, are they similar to Gong in that they have different iterations as far as like memory or members go?
Well, you
Well,
see
they have
here, we
lots of
got
them.
a lot of
Yeah.
past members.
Holy shit.
Then Christian Vander is like, maybe the
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
consistent band member.
Wow.
Is that his wife, perhaps Stella Vander?
Could be.
But yeah. Well, I was gonna say there's that. There's the jazz element that like incorporating jazz into like progressive rock, and then
Yeah.
there's also the mythology that has to do with a certain planet. You have that in Gong too, and well, Gong was also the whole mythology behind that was inspired by a vision that David Allen had. So,
Ah.
and this is saying right here that he had a vision. This might not be, I'm not sure if he's meaning like just a vision as like a literal vision, because that's the sort of thing that David Allen, I think, allegedly experienced, but he says a vision of humanity's future and ecological future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Yeah.
that's interesting. And speaking of which, like the comparisons between Gon and Magma, I remember like watching or listening to an interview with David Allen, and he was asked about Magma because I think like the interviewer was like mentioned that there's overlappings of the fan base and like there's some lots of similarities. And I really like what he said, or I think it made me laugh because he essentially said something along the lines of, you know, I really respect Magma, like their music and what they're doing, but there's just something about the way the music makes me feel that's uncomfortable. So I
Yeah.
don't listen to them. And I'm like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. That's
It's
I mean, that's so funny that I had no idea about this fictional language, but like I said, when I like anytime I've listened to them, I'm like, they just sound so alien, and that makes total sense now. Yeah, there's something just very, I don't know. It's not necessarily scary, but just something eerie and
oh, for sure.
uh yeah, and really ritualistic, or just some sort of, they're conjuring a very eerie atmosphere, in my opinion. That
Definitely.
said, there's so much of them that I have not heard. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
me too. And I mean, I am definitely in the process of discovering them too. I want to learn more about them. My problem is I have been listening to them a little bit more like off and on for the past couple of months, but there's so much to digest. And I've been like looking at this one album in particular. This is where like the song that I want to share with you is coming from. And maybe we'll listen to like another song from here as well. But
Oh,
this so the
yeah.
thing about this one, it's technically not Magma. It's technically like a side project called Offering that is supposed to be like not as heavy, but like
Yeah.
it's still like fucking crazy and intense. And
Yeah.
it's maybe like a little bit more like obviously jazzy and influenced by John Coltrane. Like Christian Vander like always talks about like John Coltrane just being like this like huge like pillar, like this influence above like all other musicians. So and, yeah, and the funny thing is like this album just by itself is like, I'm pretty sure it's like over 3 hours long,
Jesus.
Or maybe it's not that long. Maybe it's like 2. Well, yeah,
Wow.
we have this. I think the song is like 44
Yeah, no,
minutes in
it's
here. Another 126. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's adding up.
Up there. Yeah.
It's really long. So I haven't even listened to the whole thing, but like each time I listen to like just one of these songs, I'm just always like, wow, like holy shit, this is some like really good musicianship and just really interesting, daring music. So the song that I want to share with you is called Earth. And I discovered this one. This is what actually got me into this whole album, and then by extension, Magma. Although I was aware of them and listened to them a little bit, a few songs like before that, but I think I was listening to some interview with Steve Snooker Davis, and yeah, and he specifically mentioned this song. It's just like been like one of the most amazing songs ever. So
cool.
I actually, it's crazy, like I've listened to this song like maybe like almost like up to 10 times,
really,
and I still don't really like, I'm trying to like remember like what exactly it sounds like, and it just like I know it's like there's like lots of yelling. It's very avant-garde, very jazzy. So I'm excited to listen to it again. All right,
that bass has so much character. It's definitely not English or French.
Get in my man. I'm in Bill's mouth. Get in, get on, good, good, get
I love it.
Give up.
Is that vocals or is that saxophone? Like it sounds like vocals to me, but it says that avant-garde. Like, yeah, it is vocals.
Definitely has the attitude of a saxophone. Reminds me of Mr. Bungle and Mike Patton a little bit. Vocals here. Wow. Yeah, definitely quite the piece of music.
What do you say about that?
I don't know. I like though. I thought it was interesting how you were asking like, is that a saxophone or is that him singing? Because
Yeah.
like it was his singing, but you know, the cool thing about it is that like the whole approach was very much like the vocals were like substituting for like a saxophone would be like it's in that same style, doing the same things that like normally only like an instrument like a saxophone does, all those like slides and just this, I don't know, the attitude and just its role in the song.
Yeah,
You know what I
he
mean?
was definitely like he was treating his instrument or his vocals like an instrument, which that's always the case. But like
But he was really doing
he was
like,
really going for it. Yeah, because I like I can't think of any examples like specific. Well, like for example, like Sun Ra. I so specifically remember like in college, like my old roommate Jack, who you probably remember
Yeah,
meeting Jack.
of course.
He showed me a record by Sun Ra, and the record just starts like with absolute cacophony, and it's just like squealing saxophones and like
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about saxophones, but they have that like scream. They can really scream like this really scary.
It is like an
like
actual, like it sounds like almost like a human scream. I think like the
yeah,
saxophone, like just as an instrument, has a lot in common with the human voice,
with the human
or more
voice.
than other
Yeah.
instruments.
Especially like it can be so smooth and so like
Mhm.
sexy, but it can really be really scary, like really
Yeah.
scary and aggressive and like guttural. And so that's definitely like kind of the vibe he was giving off. But yeah, it's like the same thing as like the past couple songs you showed me.
Yeah,
As
we have
far
like
as
this
just
continuous theme here of just
yeah, it's like yeah,
crazy
it's like I'm getting
vocals.
the vibe that you like this sort of crazy, just like total like freedom of expression, like a person. Like I don't even know I don't even know what being in the studio and like who this person is. Like I'm just so curious, like how like
Yeah.
who they are, what their intention was, or if it's just like they just went in and just like had this like complete just one take, like just let it all out, like
Yeah.
completely like are liberated from any sort of like structure and just like pure like primal emotion and expression. It's crazy. I think like seeing this live would be like I'm sure it's like very trance inducing,
Yeah.
'cause it's so yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I don't know if I have to look up if like they've ever played this stuff live, because I think this might be more of a studio album, but I don't really know. Like I'll show you like one of the other songs, and it's like with a completely different singer, and like the mentality is like a little bit different. It's a lot more of like a normal like conventional song, but
So okay, sorry.
yeah,
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so you've listened to this 10 times.
That might
So
have been an overestimate, maybe up to like 7.
okay, so you've listened to this for over 70 minutes of your life. So what do you get out of this?
What do you get out of listening to any music? I mean,
True.
I get. I mean, well, like you said, I think the first time I showed this to you like a while back, through like just a Facebook link, you
Mhm.
mentioned how like it sounded like an exorcism. I think,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think
It
it's
sounded to me, it sounded like when I would go to I've been to a Pentecostal church. It's not
yeah, you did
unlike
get
that.
that speaking in tongues vibe. You know,
Yeah.
it's actually like very like it's the same exact
Yeah.
concept where
Yeah.
with the whole thing with their like made up language where um the sounds that you're making phonetically, there is some relationship to like it's not like random. You want it to, those sounds like are chosen not to like create so much as like of a semantic effect, but more of like
Yeah.
a phonetic effect. Like this sounds like aesthetically nice with like what is nice, I don't know if that's the word I'd use, but you know, it sounds good with what's going on and the
Yeah.
music, and it's like very intentional. And I could hear like I have to like go back and like listen to it like another like 50 times to like but just moments where I think there's a lot of like like those
Yeah.
sorts of like soft like the m's and b's and like that. I don't know, just you know, like that sort of thing is like very intentional, and that creates like a different sort of feeling or vibe
Yeah.
than like maybe like the harder sounds like which
Right.
would be like cool on its own, like in a
Yeah.
different context. That well, and like going back to like what you were saying and about this like continuous theme, yeah, like it has been like been listening to or like wanting to share lots of music that has like just completely just wild out there like free form expressionist type vocals. I wish just in general there was more stuff like that out there, because like if you think of like what the human voice is capable of doing, I feel like
Mhm.
in music and I don't know, in popular music, you like we're only using a fraction of that usually,
Right.
and
Yeah.
we're like fine tuning that. There might be like a specific part of that way they think sounds good, and it makes sense. But I also feel like there's more different types of like emotions that I'm hearing with something like this than just a straight like melody of like someone
Mhm.
singing it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, one thing that I like about it is that even like it feels like the flaws of the human voice are like also, it's like
They
also
add to
contained or
it.
like laying into that, you know, like maybe like when your voice is cracking a little bit, or just these different like sometimes like I could, when I was like listening to this, it sounds just like, man, this guy sounds like he's miserable, or like he's like vomiting up something like, "Ugh," like
He's exercising. Yeah.
or just, you know. And I feel like when you listen to like music most of the time, like you never hear something like that. Even like if you're listening to like something that's like maybe you're sad or has like an angry or a melancholy mood to it, you still don't hear that, because I think it's kind of like what you were saying and like one of the last episodes that we did, where it sounds, or some people would think that sounds kind of silly, like,
Mhm.
you know,
Right.
you don't turn on the radio, or most people don't listen to music to hear like the sounds of like somebody like vomiting, or like their voice
Yeah.
cracking, or the screaming, or having an exorcism and stuff like that. But
Right.
for me it's just like that conveys like so much, there's just so much more human emotion, and like that spectrum of like human experience contained within that one song feels like a whole lot more than just you know, just any other
Yeah.
music. So
yeah, that's
I
like such a
that.
good point, because we have like, even within like different genres of music, like obviously we have pop, which is always just going to sound like nice,
Mhm.
but um even like going to like hard rock and heavy metal, there's still like we can tell like when like the vocals are good, or like they kind of follow like the standard like conventions of like what a good sounding vocalist is. So it's like no matter
Yeah.
what, it always falls into the category of like nice or not nice, or like we just kind of veer towards like perfection and like technical capability, and like these very strict like guidelines as to like what a talented or like what a good sounding band is. And yeah, and like it's even gotten even worse with like, like editing and like software. Like we're totally,
Yeah.
we just like, yeah, go towards that perfectionism, and like it like leaves out so much of the raw, like kind of gritty, like imperfect. And this is crazy. I don't know if I could listen to this 7, 8, 9, 10 times. And
Well, not in a row.
I I still kind of go more towards like like I'm still much more interested in like melodic sensibilities, which I'm sure they have plenty of that too.
Yeah, and also like dude, like me too. Like I like this is
Yeah.
like maybe like and music similar to this is only like maybe like I don't know like 2 to 5% of like what I listen to
Yeah.
normally. And I probably listen to like more like pop music than you
Right.
do. But I
Yeah.
just well I'm also I think I'm just like a sucker for the human voice and our just the I don't know. It's just like I always say, like our mirrored neurons in the way that like
Yeah.
it just seems like a much more like an intimate experience when you're
Sure.
listening to like a voice, like do something like that, as opposed to like even like a saxophone, because like when
Yeah.
you're listening to a human voice do that, like you just you put yourself like in the emotions of
Right.
like the human. You can really just imagine
You
like
can feel it.
yourself as like
Yeah,
feeling
doing
like
it.
and like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like you can, I like, my first tendency is to be like, oh shit, like that's gotta hurt. Like you can feel just like the real,
Yeah.
like the physicality of it, and you can
Yeah.
just hear that
Right.
there's like a person, behind, like in the record, and it's just crazy.
Hmm.
Um, what I was gonna say one more. Oh yeah, yeah, it's so interesting because you said like it's such a small percentage of the kind of music you listen to, but that's like that's what makes like a good musician, is they're able to take all these different things, and like it kind of acts as like a funnel, like you take all these different influences and they combine into who you are. So to be able to, like, if you listen to a lot of pop music but you're also like a big fan of this, like I think that's gonna make for something really cool. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I think I have good influences. I like my
Yeah.
influence. I was also gonna say like back to your um point about like metal. I think what's interesting. It just made me think that at some point in time like the standard like heavy metal growl like
Yeah.
that would have been like considered obviously like novel or like what the fuck like that
Right.
someone
Sure.
like you was like listening to that and was like oh that's gotta hurt like
Yeah. Right.
um or that's unusual but like that's very something about that it's very like expressive and and it caught on. So I think I would love it if more metal bands, and I'm sure there are some out there that
Yeah.
do more like experimental vocals like this, but I think like it's all that is all kind of in the same vein. But it is that sort of thing where just it's interesting with the evolution of music and different styles. Like what I think the first time like anyone did anything that sounded different, especially with their singing, that almost all the time is met with like wow like that. Some people
Yeah.
are just like oh I don't that's like too weird like you should like stay
Right.
within like these standards or rules but
Yeah.
then other times that just like ends up like creating like a completely new genre. So
Right.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that is just the 10 minutes of a 3-hour album of like a band who is just I mean their whole discography has got to be I don't know so
And you haven't
fucking
listened you
gigantic.
Yeah, you haven't
I
listened
haven't
to
listened to this
all
whole
this.
album.
Okay.
No. I've listened to how far did I get? Maybe like halfway through. I don't know if I listened to this
Damn.
44-minute song, but that I kind of like it's the same problem that you have or that you were saying like you don't know if you listened to this like 7 times. I it's hard for me to listen to like this and what's usually if I listen to like one of these songs I'm like all right I got
You're good.
my dose
Yeah.
like I'm good. Um
Which is funny because like with a lot of, I wouldn't call this prog by any means, like avant-garde, but like usually that is kind of the setting you do is you put on something and you listen to all of it and you like digest all of it. But this is, yeah, well, it's 3 hours, so it's a lot. It's a lot to digest.
Even if it was
but
just
also,
1 hour, it'd still be.
yeah, it's still quite a bit. So I don't even know what the correct, like what their intention was as far as like how do they want people to listen to this and like what do they want to take out of it.
Well, I think
Also,
it was interesting that you brought up Sun Ra. Like I'm not as familiar with him, but like going back to the John Coltrane stuff, have you ever listened to this song called
I have.
John Coltrane? Okay, it's like, yeah. I think John Coltrane, like it's kind of like the similar vibe of like some of John Coltrane's more like experimental or spiritual stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that same sort of mentality. I mean, when I listen to this like on my own, it's always just like, you know, I load up on the Blueberries, lock my door, and turn up the music, like maybe like light a candle or some incense. It's like one of those like you just have to like
it's a
completely
total experience.
immerse yourself in it. It's a total experience. It's not like you know, wash the dishes and like do laundry or whatever. Listen to that.
Although maybe, I will say, today, let's see if I can find it. This is funny. Speaking of John Coltrane, let's see. There's Alice Coltrane, who was an amazing composer in her own right. And today in the parking lot, I saw this bumper sticker that said, "Keep honking. I'm listening to Alice Coltrane's 1971 meteoric sensation, Universal Consciousness," which is hilarious. Because if you listen to it, it's really insane. Like
it's just like you're not going to hear the cars around you.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oblivious.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like, you know, it's like us with like Cardiacs. I don't know about you, but I listen to Cardiacs all the time in my car because it's just
like, for me it's interesting because like for me like Cardiacs is just like pop music at this point.
Right.
Can, like,
it is pop music.
Cardiacs, and you know, like Tim would say it is, but like obviously it's a lot more challenging than conventional, like challenging, it's a weird word, but than conventional pop music. And like when like I was first listening to Cardiacs, the first few weeks or whatever, even like a couple of months, it definitely was more challenging to listen to, and then you kind of get used to it, and like you hear like the catchiness of each song, like you kind of have this expectation of like the structure and what parts are coming up. And I think that, but I don't know if you could apply the same thing to this or like even more avant-garde or even like some classical stuff, because it's just Cardiac's mentality like is just like there's like catchiness,
very catchy,
grabs your attention,
and there's still boundaries. This is just boundless, amorphous, like just not chaotic, but just it's very different.
I mean, you're setting aside like, you know, like 20 minutes to summon a demon.
Right.
It's a different attention.
Exactly. Yeah.
All
right, let's listen to this one.
Do we have time? Yeah, I'm getting okay. We do have time if we start right now.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's go.
Love it already. Oh, it's not that one?
It's not that one, and we don't have time because it's this one, which is
it's the next 10-minute one.
It's 10 minutes.
Well, I want to say real quick, that was really cool. I want to do like a future episode on, I don't know if we want to do all the musical modes, but there's a couple musical modes that I really want to talk about examples. And I don't know what that mode was, but that was really cool. That intro piano, like I'm in love with just the really just psychedelic, magical piano sound that was.
Yeah, I thought it was good. And I think I like the song a lot too. Maybe we could like listen to like a few minutes and just let's cut it to the next one.
Well, should we
for our next
oh yeah. Okay, we're gonna do this and then we'll cut.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, this is beautiful. And they even have the chimes or
oh yeah, love it. There's our boy.
He got the salt, he got the law, he got my soul. Oh, good man, mama, hey, give my mama good, give my mama good, make it up, make it up. He got the love, you got my soul, you got my love, baby, you got my soul. Oh, good man, mama, give mama good, give my mama good, mama, baby, get it, baby, give my
All right. Sorry,
Yeah.
Magma fans. We are running out of time here. Zoom is
No,
going to
it's-
kick us off. But yeah, it almost reminds me of like, and in the same way that I can't physically rap as fast as Eminem,
Yeah.
you know? Or it's
Yeah.
how can you fit so many vowels and consonants in so little
know.
time, and just firing them off with just like it
Yeah.
sounds very precise too.
For sure, yeah, like definitely again, like just like using the voice as an instrument, and to me, it just sounds like soloing,
Yeah.
or I guess just like kind of scat, you know. So, yeah, I was not expecting that at all. That was a lot more musical.
It seemed like you might have
obviously.
enjoyed that a little bit more.
I did well, the brain likes the
Yeah, it's like
on the
prettier,
first
like
listen,
more
it's
melodic.
yeah, it's more pretty. It's very fast, and I'm such a sucker for the very meticulous like details, like all the things kind of like blending together. I like the horns, like I like the percussion. I like the intro with the piano
piano
and
was
like the
beautiful,
tambourine and
yeah.
shakers and that whoever that vocalist was at the beginning was like also amazing. So yeah, definitely very very diverse, this band.
Yeah, and personally, I think I probably like the first song better because it sounds
Yeah.
more otherworldly to me, and so
Right.
that
This
really
is
catches
yeah.
my attention. This reminds me a little bit more of like what like Magma the band sounds
Sure.
like, although
Yeah.
definitely am not an authoritative person to talk about that, but it kind of has the more of that upbeat. They kind of like have that like just more of a that upbeat groove,
Like rhythmic. Yeah.
Yeah. And the next song, the song that I want to show you is more of a straightforward, I almost want to say like pop jazz song. This is also a Magma song, and Magma has done like 2 versions before this. So this is just like a reoccurring song from Christian Vander here that pops up over and over again. And this is my favorite version of it by far. And this might be one of my favorite songs of all time. I think it's beautiful.
It's cool already. Is that sampled? Like a sampled voice? Cool.
Sounds like
I love it already. Love how he uses the side vocals, like on each side. That's great.
my mama melody. And to be done, it is major. I can days. After me done, when it's night, I can days. Ik heb met je get my melody. And mama baby, got the one. Give my mama melody. My mama baby, you met you. Give mama melody. No, no, no. Give my mama melody. You got the one. Give mama melody. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, this is the part of the song I always remember. I love that note that she keeps on hitting.
I know.
That reminds me, what's that? There's an Air song that does that too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's Run.
Yeah.
My favorites.
I guess about the love. Get to me then. Get to love. Baby, I wanna stop, baby. Get to me then. I wanna stop. Get to love. I wanna stop. I wanna stop. Ooh, baby. Get to me then. I wanna stop. I want to stop, baby. Oh, yes. Get to me then. Baby. Get to love. Get my melodies. I wanna stop with this. Get to me down. Get to love. I wanna stop my baby. Get me down. Get to love. You give me my melodies. Get me down. Get to love. I wanna stop my baby. Get me down.
Still 15 seconds left.
Yeah. Still 8 seconds left.
Wow. Pulling
Yeah,
a,
wasn't that
pulling a-
wasn't that beautiful?
yeah, that was, I was thinking throughout the whole thing, like, it's like 10 and a half minutes long, but if you compressed it into like 3 minutes, it could totally be like a regular pop song. Like that middle,
Yeah.
the main section of just ending with was so like catchy and like really emotional, especially when he has the main like melody going, but he's like kind of coming into that. You know?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
terrible, but-
Right. And it just it reminded me of how in just like a Stevie Wonder song sometimes like they'll have like the catchy melody, but then like over like the next half of the song, whatever, or the last part, there's like the additional take that goes over that where it's just a lot more free
Right.
form and soulful and just all over the
Yeah.
place. And I love that. And yes, I think actually the Magma versions are shorter, so that makes sense. And I because it really, like, when you break it down, it's a lot simpler than like obviously like lots of these other stuff. There's like that verse part where it's just that the part that kind of reminds me of Air with that like single note.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun. And then of course like the chorus, the woohoo baby part. And yeah, it sounds like it could be just like a more or less a regular pop song, and that's all. Like the structure was just going in and out of that, and that there was like that bridge kind of like 2/3 of the way in where the different section. But
Right. Yeah, that was super beautiful too. Like the two chords, like very jazzy chords. I don't know. It's like major seventh to like a minor seventh or something like that.
Lots of sevenths.
What was it?
Lots of sevenths.
Yeah, lots of sevenths for sure. I am amazed by how like much he's able to just carry the song with just his voice. Like it sounds so percussive. Like there's a part like a few minutes in, like maybe 3 or 4 minutes in, where he's like, his voice was so like, the bass tones to it were so like like really I don't know, it just felt like it's just like you just realize throughout the whole song, like there's the like constant piano, and then there's like a really like vibrant like keyboard, and then it's just all him otherwise, and like the vocals just like really it's just so rhythmic the way he just builds the song with just him. Yeah,
Totally. And the production
amazing.
is really good with how they use the stereo effects for the different vocal takes, the lower range. I thought I had the same thought. It was actually like, it wasn't until like halfway through the song that I'm like, wow, this is just like a piano and different vocalists and vocal takes. You just don't realize that. You think just feels like there's so much energy behind it, and just goes to
Yeah.
show. I think the human voice is the most important instrument, and I also like the idea of having other sources of percussion or besides drums. Especially like you can definitely tell it's successful when you don't even notice it. Because I'm one of those persons that I do definitely. That's I think one of the reasons maybe why I would prefer to listen to like rock music or like progressive or art rock over like classical music, because it has like the drums, it has like the rhythm. So I definitely like I would definitely think I'm a person that like notices it when the drums are absent and feel some sort of like absence with that. But yeah, I did not feel that
here
at all with the song.
right. I was gonna say, there is a famous, I don't know what you call it. It's like he's like a famous like percussive vocalist. Oh shoot, what is his name? He's like world famous. Like he's like an absolute master of the voice, and he's able to like carry, like he does like covers. I think he did like a cover of like Blackbird. I got similar vibes with this. Let me see. Are you looking that up?
I'm trying, but
oh wait, I forgot. This
need
is
a little
not.
bit
This
more
is not
context for
my
me.
screen. It's your screen. Let me see. Blackbird, famous singer.
Yeah, I want to listen to more artists that do that stuff.
Bobby McFerrin is the name. He did. I think he
Okay.
did a. God, what is that? He did a famous song. Like everyone knows the song. Let's see.
Uh-huh.
Oh, don't worry, be happy. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
But
yeah.
it's similar where like he just has like his, first off, he just has an amazing sound. Like his voice is so pleasant. Like it's just very bassy, but he has like incredible range and stuff too. And I was getting a similar vibe with this, where he has that like really, like he's able to really just like conjure like a bass, like it felt like a bass drum at times. And yeah, just yeah, what a master. I'm really impressed with this guy. Like I had no idea. And I don't know, does he sing
I'm definitely gonna have to like look all this stuff up and
Yeah.
credit everyone in the description, because
Yeah.
because from my understanding, I'm not sure that this is. I
Him
don't
singing.
think it's Christian Vander's singing. I think it's
see.
somebody
Okay.
else. And when you like when you see like videos of Magma playing live, there's usually just like multiple vocalists,
Sure.
like a kind of a choir of vocalists, and like Christian Vander is like usually on the drums, other than like it's like an amazing drummer. And so but maybe is it, I don't know. And like also the female vocalist too,
Yeah.
definitely
Amazing.
have to look that up and list them in the description, because yeah, really good stuff. And I can't read any of this French, so
This bullshit French.
yeah.
So at least they're it seemed I definitely heard some French and some English in there. So
Yeah, I think maybe in that song, well, obviously we heard some English, and you think you heard some French.
oh yeah, I heard
Yeah,
some French for
uh-huh.
sure. I mean that song we listened to before was a C'est pas nous, I think.
Uh-huh.
So yeah,
Maybe this whole project isn't even doing the made up language. I mean, obviously there's like the scat and like non-lit, there's like the words that aren't words.
Yeah.
Just the noises, but yeah, I'm not sure. I want to know
Very
more,
cool.
but
Yeah.
well, actually, I threw this through the translator, and
It come out like just a bunch of
no, it came out, but it didn't really tell me any like information about like who's doing what, like the credits or
yeah.
whatever. It just says, for more than 30 years, Christian Vander has pursued his path, ignoring the crowds and their implicit demands. Founded in 1983, Offering has always testified to the importance of the music of John Coltrane in the universe of Christian Vander.
Wow.
A founding and creative attachment from which also emerged the mythical Magma. Offering, the improvised side of Magma, shows the continuity of an approach and a permanent search. From Magma, Offering offers an acoustic aspect turned towards improvisation, but it is always about the same art, the same requirements. Beyond the form, it is the presence of the cry that counts.
Wow.
Moments of joy, of suffering, flights of hope, beauty. So yeah, very beautiful, poetic.
For sure.
Yeah, didn't tell me who's doing
Who's
what,
singing.
but that's yeah. That's okay. I also love how he's just like so just unabashed in his praise of John Coltrane and how
That's
like
amazing.
important of
Yeah.
like influence he is. Because like I don't know, I think it's cool to see like other like musicians who are like obviously just like way up there, like genius level composers, being
Mhm.
like, hey, like yeah, like you think like I am like a god, but for me, like, you know, this, it's all because of like this
Right.
other guy that's giving me this inspiration.
Yeah.
And stuff, just being like, oh yeah, like all this came from like this inspiration from myself or whatever.
Right.
It seems I just really like that he's paying his dues and respects
Yeah.
to his biggest influence in that way. And you see it like, and like every single interview that I've like watched of him, or it just, John Coltrane's just like always popping
That's
up. So
cool. No, that's amazing. Like he's continuing the
yeah.
legacy, and yeah, so many like amazing musicians and like composers we look up to, like totally hide like all of their influences, and but you can still see it. Like you can tell. Like I don't know. Yeah, it's like um yeah, it seems like he's definitely, I don't know what it is about John Coltrane, but I mean John Coltrane has the whole like cosmic side of things where
Yeah.
it's like he's like submitting his humanity to this like spiritual like seeking that he wants to like bring through music. And it's, to me, I get like a similar vibe from this guy where he's just totally, yeah, it's like he's kind of like losing hisness. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what
Definitely.
I'm just pulling that out of my ass. I don't know, maybe.
I completely agree. And this caused me to do some more like research on John Coltrane, because I was pretty ignorant. Like obviously I'd heard John Coltrane stuff, and like I know who John Coltrane is, but like
Yeah.
after you know, reading about how influenced Christian Vander was by him, and like especially like the spiritual side of it, I was reading about like especially in John Coltrane's like later years before he died, he got more into the spiritual side of music, and just different like spiritual traditions, psychedelic stuff. Obviously you have like a song called like pieces called and like Ascension and stuff like that are like explicitly meant to be just spiritual journeys. So yeah, definitely continuing in that tradition. Even darker, I don't know, it's well, there's definitely like a lot of range too, because like we were saying, like this last song that we listened to was like really accessible and beautiful and even like pretty, and then of course like juxtapose that with the very first one with Earth.
Yeah,
it's one of the most evil songs you're ever
but
gonna
it's
hear.
not it. I
No,
wouldn't call it
you can't say it's
yeah.
evil. It's but it's well, dark. You know?
It's definitely dark. It's just, yeah, it's just like there's no, you can't really put it in one category. Like again, going back to Earth, I like that it kind of, he goes through these different like bouts. It's like he like unleashes all this like dark energy, and then there's like a period where he's kind of like, it's the more like whimpering and moaning and stuff, and then he comes yeah, it's like, oh my god, like this guy's something is coming out of him, and I don't know what it is. It's not strictly evil. It's definitely, I wouldn't call any of it like
well, evil is kind of like a silly way to describe music, I think.
That's true.
And especially with, obviously they're humans with like human intentions, and like the goal is to spread like you know, love and like beauty and all this stuff. So it's just the whole, I think it's just like the whole continuum of human experience is beautiful. So without hiding anything. So
no, for sure. No.
And on that note, I think we'll wrap up this podcast.
Cool.
Thank you for listening, everybody. Smash that like button. You already know what to do.
You know what to do. You know what to do.
Yeah, you
hit that comment button.
Hit that comment button. Hit several of those letter buttons on your keyboard, and press the enter button and
smash
back. Smash your fucking keyboard.
Smash that report button.